On this episode of Bobscaping, we're going to cut back this Adagio ornamental grass. This is one of my favorite grasses because it doesn't get quite as tall as maiden grass, but it has a similar appearance. I like this height to where it gets about chest high with the seed heads, and the foliage is just a little bit shorter than the maiden grass. Tends to stay upright, doesn't flop over. So we're getting real close to Thanksgiving, day after tomorrow, and this is a time of year I like to cut back these ornamental grasses. Some people like to keep the plumes over the winter to add a touch of interest to the winter landscape, but it's been my experience that if you leave them on over the winter, you tend to have these stems scattered all around your yard by the time spring arrives. So this one's on the edge of a back of a shed here that we don't really see all the time anyway, so let's go ahead and have at it. We're going to use some Echo power trimmers. They make the job a lot easier than using hand shears because these grasses are very wiry and hard to cut. So let's get these fired up and have at it. Okay, there we have it. I tend to like to gumdrop them or dome them in the shape. Some people cut them straight across. The other thing about these ornamental grasses, they're kind of like daffodil bulbs. They should really be divided every few years to help them grow, because what will happen is in the center of these will usually start to die out once they get too big. The centers will die out, so it's a good idea to divide them, plus then you have some to give your friends or plant other places on your property. I will say that they're very difficult to dig in general because the root system is even more wiry than the stems are. So you know, basically to divide them, you'd take a sharp spade and, you know, run it straight down to cut, and then of course dig in from the edges. So perhaps in another future episode of Bobscaping we'll tackle that project. So we're ready for Thanksgiving, have the ornamental grasses cut back, time to have some turkey and enjoy the holiday. Happy Thanksgiving. For this episode of Bobscaping, this is Bob.